and we are now live.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to call tonight's meeting of the Coventry Charter Review Committee to order, and I will take roll. Michael Brault.
Here.
Bradford Inman.
Here.
Dorothy Jackboni.
Here.
Michael New will not be in attendance. Claire Murray.
Here.
Norma Smith.
Here.
Oh, she's here too.
It's just funny because Ed was in that spot just a second ago, and it was just a really funny switch. Sandra Restal.
Here.
And Richard Williams.
Yeah.
Maybe next week I'll do it in reverse order, just to mix it up. We do have a quorum. And 4.1 is the approval of the June 25th, 2020 minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion to approve those minutes.
Thanks, Brad. Anyone else? Any second?
I'll second it. I didn't get them, but I'll second it.
And all in
Kim, I
favor?
got a question.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I did.
There's, it says the ratification 4.3, and it says the motion passed 6-3, but it only says like 6 names, and my name's there, but there's like 3 missing.
I think it's the 6 who said yes.
No, because it says in the beginning, Murray, no, Giacavoni, no, your name, no.
I don't think that was for the minutes.
Well, it might have been. Is it the June?
That's June 30th. Aren't you doing June
30th.
25th?
June 25th is what we're doing.
Okay,
But yes, you're right. Sorry.
you're the wrong date.
No, June 25th is what we're talking about. That was on June 30th minutes, but you're right. It is an error in the minutes.
Yeah.
So June 25th, just let's go back and then we'll go on to that, Mike. Do all in favor of passing the minutes for June 25th?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes passed for June 25th. So for June 30th, 2020, like Mike said, in 4.3, it's correct that we ratified that amendment, but we are missing 3 of the people who voted yes. And I think we will have to make that change. Ed, I don't know, unfortunately, who the other 3 who approved it were. Brad, you're not on there. I know you approved it. So Inman.
How about Richard?
Yep. No, you're there, Richard. The approvals were Norma Smith, Sandra Restal, Richard Williams, and Mike Brault.
Yeah,
So there were actually
3 more.
4. We have 4 yeses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mr. Inman should be on there as a yes.
I knew also.
Mr. New, yeah.
Oh, and Mr. New. So that's what we're missing in these minutes are Mr. Inman and Mr. New. So we will need to make that change to the minutes. I'm going to say, based on the fact that our council is not here, does anyone else, we're going to put off actually approving these until next meeting when that change is made.
I think you should. I would wait because if they're wrong, you can make an amendment to change them now and then approve them if you want to do that.
Did anyone else see any other errors in the minutes?
I see one. I see one. My name is wrong. It's not me.
Where?
My name is not normal.
Okay, I
So you're
missed
not
that.
normal or you are normal?
I'm not normal.
So that's
Oh.
the reverse present.
Second that.
You're the only
So-
one that would catch that.
We make a motion that you're not normal. So that's just a typographical error, but that can get fixed as well. Any other errors to content? All right, so I would like to amend the minutes on 4.3 to include Mr. Inman and Mr. New as yes votes, and then we will approve these minutes at our next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I have an error as well. If I'm reading this right,
Mhm.
5.03,
Okay,
does that go under the organization and functions of town council, or is that, are those just at the end? We have two things, a chapter 5 town council and a 401 number term section amendment 11.6.218 for item 4.6. Or am I getting ahead of myself? This isn't part of the minutes, it's part of the tonight's meeting.
Well,
well,
that is the minutes.
no, June 30th. If it says meeting June 30th at 6:30, that's the minutes.
Okay, because I just got the agenda in the minutes. I believe under, for item 4.6, number C, it says Town of Cumberland. Should be Town of Coventry. And it's page 9 of my package I received.
I don't see.
I don't. Are you looking at the minutes or the agenda?
Oh, there is something. Okay, I know what you're looking at, I think. He pulled some information from the town of Cumberland that we could take a look at as far as if we would like to change our language to add some members at large. So
Okay,
it is Cumberland, that's correct. What we're looking at right now, can you see this? The top,
Same one, yep.
on about line 4, you will see meeting June 30th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. That's the meeting, that's the
Okay.
minute from that meeting.
everything was attached, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Okay,
All right.
Yeah.
So it seems like the minutes with just the change of name and addition of the yeses. We'll get that fixed and we'll approve those next week. So I had asked him to put together this 4.3, just so that as we go on to new things, we remember as a committee the things that we've already worked together on proposing to the town council. So one thing we did is for section 3.01 in the term limits for council service, a 2-year break before running for office again after 2 terms. So he didn't put everything in right here, but it is after 2 terms. We approved the same in 4.01 for the school committee. In section 5.01, we added a residency preference for the town manager, including the fact that the residency is required within 6 months of hire, with the extension of up to 2 years could be approved for someone moving to town. Section 3.15, we put in that any counselor may put an item on the council agenda, because currently only the president is putting items on the agenda, and so we're ratifying that in the charter if possible. So just as we move forward, we just have down what we have accomplished as a committee so far, which I think is pretty impressive. Coming together and just staring at each other like the Brady Bunch on a screen. I think we're doing a good job.
Not bad for 50,000 apiece. Each, I meant to say.
So for 4.4, he wanted consideration of a proposed amendment to require public comment at town council meetings, which is also part of 3.15. Oh, give me 1 second. My printer had run out of paper. I needed to refill. So 3.15, it already has one amendment where we said any council member can add something to the agenda. We now wanted to add language that said, in order to afford the greatest level of public participation in the business of the town of Coventry, all meetings of the town council are required to include in its agenda a provision and opportunity for public comment. I believe now they allow for it, but a future council could decide not to. So just the idea of ratifying in our charter that the town council is looking to hear from members of the community. I'm actually just going to go around and see if there's any discussion in the order in which I'm seeing people on my screen. So this is just a random ordering of people. Norma, do you have any feedback on that?
No, I think public comment's important. I know they don't like it as far as it extending the time of a meeting, but no, I think public comment's important.
All right. With Michael Brault, you're the only mic in town today. Do you have any feelings to the contrary or anything you'd like to add?
No, I thought it was a requirement, but maybe not. We should make it. You just shut up.
You can tell people to shut up. They just don't have to.
They just got to listen.
All right. Sandra, how about you?
Okay, I might have missed something. We also put, when we were talking about having public comment for all boards and commissions, that was correct, right? We wanted to see that the comment would be for all of the boards and commissions.
Yeah, not just the council.
That's a good idea. Yes, because we.
Well, it says it on our paper, right? Doesn't it say it here?
4.4, yes.
Yes, that is what we wanted. It's not in this language though.
Oh, okay. And the other thing I wanted to know is the public comments, they're always going to be at the end. It's not about each thing as they discuss it. It's going to be at the end.
It doesn't necessarily have to be, but I did talk to Dave about that because I specifically would like it to be during the portion of the meeting. And he did not think that we should be that specific in the charter. That we should make sure that it's open for public comment, but to not be so restricted in the charter.
Well, when they discuss something and then one more topic, one more, you might have something to say about one, but it's kind of all done.
I'm in 100% agreement with you on that. And, you know, part of what Dave says is, this is my recommendation, but it's up to us how we would like this to be in there. So,
maybe it could be suggested, like not saying you have to do it, but if it was suggested, maybe that would joggle somebody's mind to go, you know, how about if this meeting we try that? I mean, something.
Or
there aren't that many people that go to the meeting, correct? The town council?
Not
Yeah,
Well,
when
if
the
only-
future contract
if you
comes
were-
up.
Well, if you were waiting for one topic and you had to go through everything till the end of the meeting, I mean, that's a good reason for people not to go, because you sit there for how long?
Agreed. So let's see how we can word that, but I do like that idea. Does anyone, I'm going to let everyone kind of say their piece, and then I'm going to do more of a show of hands once we get to the end. Richard, you are next
thank you.
on my screen.
Oh, no, we do have public comment now, but it is at the end, like you said.
It is, and it's not, they don't have to.
And they don't have to answer your questions either.
No.
So it's not really, it's public, just your input, but not really interested in the input.
Public venting.
That's all it is.
So do you agree though with Sandra that you think it should say throughout the meeting? Like, I don't know how to best word it, but you know, after each topic of discussion and before voting would be how I would like to.
It should be before voting.
Yeah.
And it should be a time limit too. It shouldn't be a long time.
Well,
shouldn't be someone there a half hour talking. It shouldn't be that.
yeah, I do think
Should be
that you
3
should
minutes
do a monologue, but
It should be a limited amount of time.
Yeah, and I wonder if allowing people to speak is the same as giving them full, like, letting them take over the meeting. So we'll have,
Yeah,
I'll
that's a
have
half
to
hour.
check
You
in with
want
David
that.
about that.
3 minutes or something like that. Low. Yeah,
Like, I'm just gonna do Claire, Dorothy, and Brad, and then I'll come back up to you if you don't mind.
Alright, yep.
Okay, great. Did you have anything else, Richard, before I move on?
No, that's it.
Claire?
I definitely feel that there should be public comment. I don't necessarily like the way it's at the end and, you know, things are done. However, I do think there should be a time limit. Because the one thing I can tell you is I have friends that live in different areas, and there is comment that's allowed on each topic.
Mm-hmm.
But those meetings go on sometimes until 12 and midnight or 1 in the morning because everything that there's, you know, there's a comment section and they're allowed to just go on and on and
Oh, yeah,
on.
no.
It's done before the voting, which is good in one way, but I think there has to be, you know, I do think people should be allowed to comment, but I do think that maybe a time limit should be put there so that you don't just keep going on and on and on and on and on. You know, you have to know what you want to say when you get up there so that you can be articulate, but not just, like you said, take over the meeting, because then it turns into a brouhaha.
So, all right, I have some input on that, but I'm also going to wait my turn, just like I'm making my. Dorothy, do you have any input?
I also believe that public comment is important. I would actually like to see it at the beginning of a meeting, before they start talking about specific topics. Because if they're going to be talking about a topic and then voting on it, then getting a public's input on it after, how the vote's already been done. I mean, maybe people have something creative and something they want to share that may help change a vote, not in a good way or a bad way. But if someone wants to discuss something and then they're going to vote on it, what does public comment mean at the end? It's already been voted on. The constituent has no input. And at the first sentence in 3.15, it says, the town council shall determine its own rules and order of business. So, you know, they pretty much get to run the show the way they want, but be considerate of the taxpayers. They should be heard before a decision's made.
Mm-hmm. And Brad, last but not least.
Thank you. Yeah, no question. Dottie's right. Public comment is best at the beginning. You know, there's no question if they're talking about it to comment, that's the time to bring it up. But I know, like the House of Rep and the Senate, they do a 2-minute time limit on everything. They let people talk, but it's 2 minutes. That's it. So you got to get in there, say your 2 minutes. That's it. So some person can't dominate the whole night with the mic. You know, they say the 2 minutes. Next person say the 2 minutes. Now this sometimes goes on for hours and hours and hours. And what they try to do to shorten it up is if we're talking about a topic, say we're talking about the zoo, and there's like, you know, there's 50 people that are going to talk about one issue with the zoo, you know, just for an example. Well, they try to streamline it and just have like 1 or 2 important people talk about that topic, and then 1 or 2 important people on the opposite end of that topic, and try to go from there. But I mean, 2 minutes is got to be like I think a firm limit when you're talking with the public, and I think at the beginning it's best because they're dealing with the topic hasn't come up yet. Because if it's later, a lot of these people make up their minds already. If it's later on, and their minds are made up.
Yeah. No, so I think we've all come to a moderate consensus, and now we just have to work some things out. Mike, what was your next comment?
Well, I've been going to the council meetings for about 17 years, and it seems like they can change like if the teachers are there full with their contract, they'll push them forward.
To the beginning of the meeting, you think?
Right, yeah, just to get them out of there.
Yeah, I've seen that when they're like, you're here for a specific topic, let's go over it. and
Yeah, well,
get that
and the
done.
seats become empty when they get what they want.
No, and I like that, and I think that can continue to be under the town council determining their own order of business. Like, as long as you stick to this agenda, you can
Right.
switch up the order. That seems good. I'm wondering, kind of going along with yours, Brad, with the 2 minutes, do they just get one turn to come up for 2 minutes? Because that's what I was thinking. Like, once
Yeah,
people
they
get
do.
up
That's all they get is one turn for that 2 minutes. That's it. But they can have, they'll listen to everybody that wants to be listened to, you know, which sometimes goes on for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
What happens is usually people say, after they listen for a while, they realize, all right, someone's already talked about what I was going to talk about. I'm all set. You know, it's true. Like, same thing with me. If I hear someone up there saying the same views I'm going to say, I don't have to express myself. You know, I think it was covered.
Sometimes, though, the town council, knowing multiple people agree, like, yes, I'm on his page, even if that's what you go up there and say. I think that's helpful.
I think written testimony is also very helpful in this aspect, that people can write in their comments, submit them before they make the decision, so that the council members can read these opinions. Now, obviously, you know, you only have so much time in a day to read them, but the people that actually take the time to write it, you'll be surprised. Like, even I've seen big state issues at the state, huge state issues, where only it's like the same people writing in, you know what I mean? But some people give a good outlook. They write their views down, and you're looking at it and you read it, and it's for whatever it's worth to you as a person up there. It doesn't have to be the right thing or wrong thing, but it's another way to submit information to the council, is written information, but you got to get them to vote on it later.
Well, no, I agree. They should see all the information before they vote. My biggest hope is that people will know what the town council meeting is about before the town council meeting happens. Because typically that's, I feel the meetings I go to will be an issue.
Yeah.
I think this Zoom thing is good for maybe more people will, at least if they got kids, watch it from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both parents can, you know, if they have kids in your case, Mike, both parents can watch instead of just one.
And let the kids learn it too.
Yeah.
Show them their democracy at work.
But you can't see when you're on Zoom. You can't see when somebody's going to talk. We don't see that person.
No,
So
I think someone would just see a hand raised is how it would work. Not Ed, but whoever is working with Ed. They would see, you can like raise a hand in Zoom in certain instances, and then they call on you. And same as in the regular meetings, you just say your name and street address and give your spiel.
You can hear it at least.
Madam Chair, if they have a camera on, when I bring them in, the camera can kick in, so you can see them.
Oh, okay. So like this.
But typically they don't have the camera on, so that's why you're not seeing them.
Oh, okay.
I would bring them
Thank
in and
you.
they would come in here. That's why you see the box for them, but they don't have a camera or they don't have it on. And that's why you see that.
So we
Okay.
just
Thank
could
you.
hear them, right, Ed?
Yeah, if they don't have
see-
that, you're only going to hear them, and they hear you. They're still seeing you. They're seeing what's on screen, but they're not putting their video on.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm correct, and we like what is here, but we also want to make sure it includes not just town council, but for all boards and commissions. And we want to have that we would like this discussion to be before any vote, and the council can limit it to 3 minutes. And I don't mind saying they can, as opposed to they have to.
I think they have to limit it to 3 minutes. Should be strictly enforced.
Yeah?
I've been to meetings and sometimes they go over 3 and they keep going and going.
Yeah.
On-
And then you'll see one, like they feel like the chairman or the chairwoman is like favoring one side or the other by letting that person talk a little longer than the other. So you kind of got to have a stopwatch saying, that's
Right.
it.
Yeah, the sergeant of arms can have one.
And it's true. Whoever's helping to run the meeting, they've got to be on board. They're going to be kind of strict about it.
On Zoom, Ed can just mute them. Boom.
Bye.
That's why I love
Just kidding,
Zoom.
Ed. Don't put that in the minutes.
Yeah, I
So-
don't like what Mike's saying. Boop.
You want to have, does anyone disagree that we should keep it a hard and fast 3 minutes? If you could just put your hand up.
Well, what about 2? Is it 3 is 3
No,
what
it's
they're
three.
using now?
Sure.
2 and a half. We'll split the difference.
Is what,
They
are they using
actually
3
do
now? I'm
3
sorry,
now.
I'm not aware of that.
They do 3
They
at
do
the
3
financial
now.
town meeting.
Okay,
Three's
okay.
good.
They do 3. Is that good? Does that seem long to people?
I think it seems fine because people can, some people
All
just
right.
go up and say, I don't like it. Other people could go on, like Richard was saying.
And make no mistake, people want to be heard. Right, wrong, or indifference, even if they don't like the answer they get,
Mhm.
they have to be heard.
Yeah.
People have to be heard.
Okay, so we're not going to vote on this because we have 2 important issues that we would like to be included before it goes before the town council.
Right.
So we're going to push this to next week's meeting. Does anyone, before I do that, have any more comment? You can just put your hand up and I'll call on you.
What day is next week's meeting?
Oh,
I thought we had a meeting this week on the 9th also. Do we
Thursday.
not?
oh,
Thursday.
it's Thursday? Okay. Yes, I believe I do have one for Thursday.
And then I have a question
We'll
for
have
you,
one
Ed. We have
What
a
about next
meeting,
week?
we have a meeting on the 14th, but that's also the financial town meeting. Are you going to be running both of those meetings?
I highly
You can't
recommend.
have this if I've got that running because there's only one Zoom account.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to cancel this, and I don't know how to appropriately do it, Ed, because
It wouldn't be fair to the town, really, to do both.
well, I think probably the 9 people on this call might be interested in the financial town meeting.
You
So
think?
I don't know if I can put this in the agenda, but I would like to cancel that meeting, Ed, and I'm not sure if you know the appropriate way to do that.
You can just notify Steph, and if I remember, I'll tell her tomorrow morning that you're looking to cancel that one.
Okay,
You've only got one scheduled for next week on Tuesday.
we do.
The 16th as well, which is the all-day referendum.
I don't think we have one scheduled for the 16th, do we?
I thought we did.
Yes.
June 16th we did, but not.
Oh,
July.
that's right. No, yeah.
That was
July.
June
That
16th.
month's already gone.
July 16th.
I don't have one listed for.
I don't see it either.
I don't either.
There might have been
There
a
was
time
meeting
we were pushing
Tuesdays
it
and
further, but
Thursdays. Because we were meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays. Before
We
just
were.
Tuesday.
Madam
But
Chair, if I may,
Yeah.
if you want to have Thursday, if you change the time to 5 o'clock, that would still give me time to do what I've got to do on the day of the all-day vote, because we always broadcast that live as the votes come in and the numbers are counted and stuff. But if we did this at 5, that would it should give us plenty of time to the voting ends at 8. It's up to you. Just making that offer.
I'm working the polls that day, so I won't be there on the 16th.
It looks
My
like we just
birthday
have
sounds
July
fine.
7th, which is today, and the 14th.
That's what I got listed.
I just have it ending the 14th as well.
I did as well.
Yeah, today and the 14th.
And we have to
right?
remember that, as Dave said, we have to get this into the council by the 20th.
Yeah, I actually didn't have the 9th on my calendar though.
I don't have the 9th either.
Me neither.
No,
I did.
no. Uh-oh.
So
I got
You're the only one. You'll be here.
I
could
got the
people-
7th and the 14th. Is that correct?
That's what I had.
That is what we had. Can anyone, is everyone available on the 9th if we moved the meeting to that date?
There's
Yeah.
already a sewer sub scheduled for that meeting for that night because you didn't have
Okay.
one scheduled.
Yeah, we did.
So this is already being used on the 9th.
Yeah, and I'm not available that evening either.
Oh, 9th is out.
But we need at least one more meeting.
14th.
Well, the 14th is the financial town meeting, so they can't do it that night.
How about a nice Saturday morning at 7:30?
I could totally do that. You're joking, but I'm like, that would really
No,
be.
I'm not. No, Kim, I'm not. If you guys want to do one Saturday morning, I'm more than
Yeah, but
willing.
not 7:30.
Okay, 7:35.
Okay.
That's
Like
a big difference.
7:42.
AM or PM?
Oh, AM, of course, sir. Seriously, if you guys want to do one Saturday, we could set one. You could set one up for Saturday, and it's not a big deal as long as we do it in the morning. If we go any later than that, my wife's going to kill me.
She'll be at the beach waiting for you, Ed.
We'll have to get a new town manager
Are you
already?
talking this Saturday, the 11th?
You can do it either one.
Possibly.
Is that what you're talking, Ed?
And
Yeah.
could you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
This Saturday.
So what's the date?
The 11th.
It's
11th.
the 11th.
11th at 7:30.
I mean, that's the beauty of Zoom. I mean, you know, it's not a big deal. You can just don't put your video on if you're still in, you know, your
Cameras.
bed clothes and you got bed hair. You know, just my video's not working.
7:30 a.m. the 11th, but not the 9th, correct?
Not the 9th.
Right.
There's another meeting that evening.
Right. So
I mean, I'm kidding around on the 7:30. Kim, 9 o'clock probably would be a more appropriate time.
That sounds good.
That sounds better.
Is anyone willing to do 8:30?
That sounds better.
I'm okay with 8:30.
Kim, I'm a young man. I go out nights on the weekend.
Friday
You know,
nights.
me and guys my age, we always go out on the weekend.
I go out until.
Yeah, but
like
we're usually
9.
home by 8 o'clock at night.
All right, don't tell them that, though.
No, 9 o'clock is fine. I won't be weird about it one way or the other. You know.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock's fine.
Does
I can
anyone
do
else
that.
want to die on the 30-minute hill, or is 9 o'clock fine for everyone?
9's
9
good.
o'clock's
Is it
fine.
fine for Dave?
Can I?
So Saturday, 9 a.m.
Saturday
11.
9. Norma, can you make it?
Yes,
Michael, can you make it?
Yep. Yes.
Sandra, can you make it?
Yes, yes.
Richard, can you make it?
I can, but can Dave make it?
We will find out.
Yeah.
Claire, can you make it?
Yes. Yes.
Dorothy, can you make it?
Yes.
Brad?
And
All right, 9
Mike
o'clock.
New, yes.
Who's
Okay.
bringing breakfast?
It's BYO.
Yeah,
Virtual
I'll
breakfast.
buy a
Definition is
virtual
BYOB.
reality breakfast for everybody.
Mhm. Bring your own breakfast, people. All right. Awesome.
So that might be our last meeting on Saturday?
It will be.
I feel like we need one more. Am I overreacting?
No, I don't think you are, Kim.
Yeah.
So it'll be the 11th and then the 14th will be the last.
But we can't do that
No,
one
we can't
because
do
that's the
14th.
financial town meeting.
Oh,
How
okay.
about the 16th? Is that bad?
That's the all-day
That's all day.
referendum.
Oh, the 16th is, so 21st?
Is that too late?
That's after
We
what
have to get the stuff in by the 20th to the council. Anything that's going to be voted on this year
This year, we
Yeah.
got to get it in,
Wait,
yeah.
has to be
Yeah, we
in
gotta
by
get
the
the stuff for
20th.
this year.
Unless it's something we don't care about for this year.
Then I'm not
But
gonna rush you guys.
anything that we want, anything has to
This
be in
year,
by the
correct.
20th.
I mean, frankly,
So better to
about
have
the 18th?
something that we worked on get in than nothing.
yeah, I agree.
Madam Chair, how about the 18th? That's the following
Do
Saturday.
we wanna do two Saturdays in a row?
Do I want to? No, but
No,
we're
not
on the
you.
guest.
Ed, I'm not asking you. You're stuck. Everyone else is a volunteer. So
Who am I?
Oh,
we won't,
Yeah, we could do that. We could do the 18th if you want.
we just need a quorum.
Can we get a
Um,
quorum on the 18th?
I'm gonna,
I can go.
let's do a show of hands this time, see how that works.
And Mike,
Make it on the 18th.
yep, Norma, Sandra, Richard.
Oh, I'm seeing
Let's
Claire.
go.
All right, we can all make
All right,
it.
all but Ed, yeah.
9
Michael's gonna be sad he missed this meeting.
Yep, no.
We
I
just took two of his
voted
Saturdays.
for him today. He accepts both. Can we do that?
So after this, we have 2 Saturday meetings and that's it. Is that correct?
yep.
That's what I got, Sandra.
Okay. I'm good.
All
No
right.
partying Friday night, Sandra.
Yeah, everyone be
What'd you say
good.
about Friday?
No party and Friday night, Sandra.
I'm setting a curfew.
And we were going out
Don't
too
worry.
this Saturday, me and Sandra.
Oh, I'd like somewhere to go, but never mind.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So that's it.
All right. So am I still? Yes, I'm on the right agenda. All right. So proposed amendment to require public comment. We're working on that. That's pushed. 4.4 is pushed. 4.5. Consideration of proposed further amendment to section 5.03 pertaining to appointment and duration of interim acting town manager. Oh, we added to the already existing language. In the event of a search process for replacing a town manager, the town council shall have the right to extend the appointment of an interim or acting town manager for 6 months at a time, provided there is an active search for a permanent replacement. I believe that last sentence is what we wanted to make sure was in there.
Right.
All right, so just to make my way around again, Norma, do you have any questions or comments about the language?
No, I think it sounds right to me.
Mike?
Sounds good.
Sandra?
It's good.
Richard?
Yes, it's good.
Okay, Claire?
Nope, it's fine with me.
Great. Dorothy?
The sentence is perfect.
It's very nice. I might make you my motioner. Brad?
Yep. Now, what did we change? We changed anything, or
All we did is say
why
we
is this
wanted
back
to
up?
make sure there was an active search going on for a replacement if we were giving the council the right to keep extending the interim.
Yeah, they can keep on extending it, like we talked about, right? We're not
Right.
changing
All we
anything, are we?
added was they needed to be actively searching for a replacement.
We added they have to be actively searching for a replacement,
Yeah.
but aren't
Yeah.
they?
Well,
Yeah, no, yeah.
2 years.
basically, instead of having it be they can't do it for more than 180 days, originally we just talked about saying the council has the right to extend the appointment. Last week we spoke about we want them to have that right, but we want to make sure that to give them that right, they have to be actively searching for a replacement. So they can't just keep extending the interim so as not to fill the position.
Correct. Okay,
All right?
I'm
You know,
good.
it has to be the whole council involved, not just the president.
Right.
I think the whole council has to. It has to be voted on.
Right.
Yeah, well, I don't think they've been doing it. I think the president's been pretty much going through everything.
If I may interject, that is
Yeah.
not the way it goes. The council votes on it every time, every 6 months, and the whole council is involved. They have to be involved to do it. There's nothing different on that. That's in fact, they just voted on my 5th appointment, so
Yeah.
every 6 months it is being done.
Just when you thought you were done, they pulled you back in
They
again.
pulled me back in again.
Yep. Just when you thought you were done.
You won't know how to do your old job anymore, Ed.
He's probably doing both.
I am still doing my old job.
All right, so as to 4.5, the consideration of proposed further amendment to section 5.03 pertaining to the appointment and duration of interim acting town manager. Do I have an motion to approve the new language?
I make a motion to approve the new language on
Thank
section
you.
5.03.
I
All
second.
right, and Dorothy seconds. I'm just, because it's something that we're planning on putting in front of the town council, I'm just going to take a roll call. Norma, do you approve?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Michael?
Yes.
Sandra?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Brad?
Yep.
And I approve as well. So it's unanimous approval, the motion passes. That's the easiest thing we've ever done in our time together as a charter.
It certainly is.
Well done, guys. Okay, 4.6 is the discussion of council member, at-large councilors, review of district assignments and related matters. So David had just pulled some information from other towns as to how they add at-large members. So I think what we need to talk about as a committee is how many we would want, if we would want, how many we would want to serve each term. Richard, can I just ask why you are disinterested?
I think it should stay 5. If you have 2 more, then some district is going to have 3 votes. The other guys, or 2 districts are going to have 2 extra votes. Because where are they going to come from? These aren't large. They don't just come out of the sky.
Yeah, but we
I think it
consider them,
still should be
Richard.
5.
We consider them to watch the whole town. So those 2 people would be responsible for the whole town, not just their district. So every councilman would be responsible, or councilwoman would be responsible for the district, and the at-large would be responsible for the whole town.
Yeah, but they probably still have a say in the district's area too.
No, I understand what you're saying, Richard. You might get 2, like, yeah, sure, there's gonna be 2 people from the same district, whatever. But the thing is, but now they don't just account to that district, they account for the whole town.
So I think because Richard and Brad have both thrown out kind of alternate points of view, I'm just going to go around and ask like I did last time, starting on my other side here with Dorothy.
I think me and Richard are pretty close.
I think it might be a good idea. So you have a council member for each district, and as Kim said, you have 2 at large, or with a Brad, to oversee the whole town. So you're watching 5 different districts instead of just advocating for your 1.
Do we think there could be something? Oh, actually, Dorothy, thank you. Claire?
I'm not against having 2 at large. I really would hope that even if there's 5 and they are all from a district, that they are taking care of the entire town and considering the entire town.
Yeah.
I get that, you know, they're going to watch for their district, but I would hope that whoever gets on that council is going to look at this town as a whole town and a whole community, because if one district benefits, every district benefits, you know. So I'm not against the at-large, but if you're looking at it, if your feeling is that each district is only watching out for their district, it's a, you know, more or less a volunteer thing. I know they get a stipend, but there's a lot to do. So you're asking these other 2 at large to now absorb everything from every district. So I'm not saying it's not a good idea, but I just think, you know, you need to think it out too. And like I said, my biggest hope is that all 5 of these district people, who may not now, but has hope for the future, who are going to consider the entire community and the municipal side, the school side. You know, I keep hoping for that there's a continuum of care for the entire community.
Sandra, do you have any feedback?
I'm still thinking. I'm one of the people that suggested the at-large, but I see the challenges, so I didn't think about that. But there are different, they would add more people than 5 to have a vote on something, and they could express, I don't think they would just express from their area unless it was like the sewers and that's the area they're from. To me, the other things apply to everywhere. Oh, well, maybe not Western, I don't know.
Solar panels.
Yeah, there's things
If I could say one thing, like, you know, Richard, when we were kids, there's been 4 or 5 councilmen then. And here we are adults, there's still 5, and the town's double. And there's still 5 councilmen. You know, we had five the whole life. My only thing is checks and balances, and I know exactly what you're saying, Richard. I'd hate to have two people from one district get in and they get together and they don't want whatever. I can see that happen, but we hope we can vote those people out. We hope we can sit there and correct it, but I know how politics is.
Make two extra districts. That's another way of doing it.
What's that now?
Instead of at large, you split the districts different and have two extra districts then.
Well,
Oh my
you know,
goodness.
that's
don't think we can
another
do that.
option. It's just
That'd
that I'm
be
thinking
another
like since
option.
I've been a kid, there's been 5. That's it. There's always been 5. You know, it's like we've like tripled since then. You know, and we still
We
got
should
5.
add 2 more districts then.
Maybe that's what we got to
Just
do.
being from Rhode Island, more
Not at
districts
large.
is something that's ugly to me. I feel we break up into too many districts as a state. Mike, did you have any feedback on this?
No, I'm District 4. I think it's a good idea to have 2 more.
2 more members or 2 more districts?
Two more, well, maybe both. I don't know. I never really didn't think about all that.
When you going to run, Mike? I'll vote for you.
I know.
And how about you, Norma?
I'm just wondering how it works. So the 2 at large would have to campaign through the whole town, not just the district?
Yeah.
That would be difficult.
And every district would vote on those at large people?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'd vote for your representative.
And you would choose one of the at larges?
Yeah.
Oh, 2.
Well,
Two new ones.
and that actually is something
But
we'd have
3
to,
people,
that's something we'd have to add is
which
should,
is
should we have them both run in the same term?
Well, the
Right,
others
maybe
alternate.
that's a
have to.
great idea, actually.
The
That's a good
others
point.
alternate, so as it stands now, not everybody's running at the same time.
Because the problem being, people might be more likely to go out. I mean, you're going to vote for other things, so hopefully everyone's voting. But if you don't have a council member in the race, you might still, so there's both, you might get a vote that year, which is good. You still might be able to add input. But conversely, you might not think to vote for someone. Sure.
Sandra, what are you doing?
But you
Hold
still-
on. Well,
Push-ups.
I'm trying to fix my phone and turn it off. I'm sorry. Let me if I
But you
can
would
see what
still
I'm
have to
doing.
have those 2 at large at the same time
I'm just trying to
in
turn my
order
phone
to
off.
have a quorum.
I know, like the first election, right? Is what you're saying, like.
Right,
You
you
have
have, if
the
you're
odd
gonna
number.
have 7 or 2 more, you have to get those 2 on
I
at
don't
the
know what that
same
is.
time. Otherwise, you're not gonna ever have a quorum. You could end up in a tie all the time.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you'd
Is
only
that
be
me?
voting for them.
I don't know what that is.
What? I don't. But then you'd only be voting for them in 1, 2 districts or 3 districts off years, right?
I didn't understand that.
So this year, for instance, the town council is doing districts 2, 3, and 5. Is school committee 1 and 4 this year?
Yes.
Okay, so people are out there voting for something town related in
True,
every election. Okay, all right.
true.
Yes, Dorothy.
Now, if we're gonna do that for town council, would it have to be done for school committee as well? I think maybe this needs to be investigated.
Yeah,
And
I
maybe
don't.
instead of rushing to get it on the ballot, maybe work on it and maybe put it on the next ballot. I mean, so, we've got a lot of things here, and maybe just get the important things on the ballot and then work as, a committee to tighten things up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want everybody's feedback, but Dorothy, I agree with you that there's been a lot of good feedback on both sides of this issue. And I don't even know it's 2 sides. I think people just have different thoughts. And right now we're really in the thinking stage, and with a 14-day window.
Yeah, I never thought about this before, Kimberly. I never thought about it before. Then I started recently thinking about it a lot. But then again, if if we pass on it this time, when's it ever going to be done? You know, like I said, since I was a child, we've always had 5. I mean, it's time this town grew. I think we're still spinning our wheels here. We're not growing as a town, and businesses see that. Businesses, if they want to come to Coventry, that's how we reduce our taxes, businesses. And if we don't get businesses to Coventry, we're not going to reduce our taxes at all. And they see us as just doing the same thing year after year after year. I kind of want to, you know, I think we should work on improvement. Even if we don't settle this election, I don't think this committee should dismember just to give up on this. This is something that we got to
Right.
keep on
Start
working.
all over again
We
with new
don't
people.
finish it this
Well,
time. It's
Can I
something we're going to look
can I
at and
just-
agree with.
Let's make it through 4.6, and then Brad, I think what you're discussing is part of the next item on the agenda. So Claire, what did you want to give us feedback?
I just wanted to be, because I really wanted to check to be sure, and so that I understood. And after these 2 meetings that we have and the stuff is submitted, and Brad, I mean, this is how it works now, okay? After we're done with these 2 meetings and we get submitted what we've been able to work on, our committee is done. At that point, that it's up to the town council to decide if they want to have another charter review commission again and when they want to have it again, and they interview whoever they want to again. I'm not saying
Like
that's
they did
right,
this time?
Brad. I'm not
Like they did this time, Claire?
What's that?
Like they did this time?
What do you mean?
Yeah,
Everything you just said. Like they interviewed, they found the right candidates, all that stuff.
Yeah.
What, 6 weeks?
Yes.
So real quick, guys, before we move on
And
to
here's
that,
the thing, why are we rushing it?
Brad, if you don't mind, just before we do that, let's finish up 4.6 and just get it out of
Okay,
our.
if I
lives
could
for the
finish on
moment.
this, Kimberly, if I could talk about this some more.
Yep, and just
Okay.
let's just finish up the. 4.6.
Obviously now I think it's an important issue. Now I think it's a very important issue. I think it's something we shouldn't pass on. I think it's something we should deal with right now because in past charter reviews, it's been passed. It's been passed. How many years is
Nothing
this
has
going to be
changed.
passed, Claire? How many times, Claire, are they going to pass these things just for the next person? And let's just let it to the town council to decide. No, we're put here to make these decisions. That's why we're here. We're not here at the pleasure of the council to do whatever they ask
We
us.
are here at the pleasure of the
Well,
council.
no, we are, but we're here to find results.
We
we're
are,
not-
and
just
we
stop.
are getting results. Like we are pushing
This is an
forward.
important issue then. This is an important issue that should be dealt with then.
It is, and so this is just
Not just
what
passed on to the next
I have on it.
of people that sit at the pleasure of the council.
Brad, hold on one sec. So we have moved forward with a number of items. Our job now, I think, as a committee, is to make sure as many people as possible know what we're putting before the town council to vote on.
But are we really happy with this? Are we happy with what we done? Is everybody here
think-
really happy? Maybe most of you are, but I feel this is an important issue.
I will say, Brad, that 2 weeks ago, or earlier last week, Dave asked everyone on this committee to please send him things that they would still like to discuss.
I thought this was on
this
us.
charter.
We're discussing this though.
Right, but he needed to know what needed to go on future agendas so that we could keep discussing parts of the charter. And no
But
one.
we were already talking about this though.
This is just talking about going forward. Someone did send him something, I think maybe just today, but it's not as if everyone is reaching out with a laundry list right now of things that they want to discuss, like we were at the beginning. Like when we first started this committee, a number of items were discussed and put in front of Dave, which is great. So now we're going to put these things in front of the town council that we have been able to discuss with each other. I think we're a pretty diverse group of people who have been able to get some things accomplished. There's some things that we disagreed on as a group, that we agreed on as a group, that we, maybe didn't have a quorum, but everyone moved forward with the decision of the group, which is great. Now, in my mind, once the town council decides what goes on the ballot, we see what gets pushed forward, and we move from there. So I almost feel that if the council is fine with us staying together as a group after we've voted on what we've gotten done to date, we start again after the November elections. If we see, some people might decide to bow out. They gave a commitment for a few months. They've
Hey, if
committed
we
their
start up
time.
again, I got no problem, Kimberly.
Yeah,
I mean, I got no problem.
I think
'Cause I
putting
think
that
this is
into the
a
council.
issue that's been going
would be
on
great.
since I was a child. I think it's something that's eventually should be done. Why do we keep on brushing this under the rug? You know?
But we do, so what are we brushing under the rug? Like, what do you want to discuss? Because we
Whatever
still
the
have 2 more
council
meetings.
tells us to.
You're talking about?
We're
That's
just
what I
a
feel.
committee under the council though, right? Like that's how the charter review committee works.
Right, I understand that. But no, but they give us the way I read it, they give us guidelines. They give us guidelines of what we're supposed to do. And we file those guidelines and we submit it to them, and then it's up for them to vote. They are not to advise us throughout the process on what we're voting on. They give us ideas, but they can't say, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. It's like a council person right now was to ask us questions about certain things. It's really not their role. You know, we submit things to them and they decide.
Yeah, no, I don't think they should be part of this either. And I think the only thing the timeline did was say, we put together a charter review committee for this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the timeline falls in, is that if we don't get them what we want by July 20th, it just doesn't fall into this election year.
Right.
So in my mind, in the charter, it says, you know, every 5 years we will put together this committee to review the charter. We're this year's committee. I agree with you though, that I think if they're willing to and members are willing to, we should get another chance, because this was a very condensed process and we should have had about 6 months to do what we've done in about a month.
It's being crammed down our throats.
Right. You're gonna decide now.
I do think that we should put to the council, you know, I would be glad to write a letter that those members who choose to stay on this committee would like to reform without a new interview process, possibly with the addition of other community members if people decide not to do it.
And you could say that I thought it was being crammed down our throat. I thought it was a very fast process. They're giving us the stuff. They're trying to cram it down our throat very fast.
Yeah, glad to. I mean, I think this year, not being allowed to have this sort of meeting because it wasn't considered by the state to be mandatory or
essential.
Essential. Thank you.
That's what that
yeah. So I mean,
the liquor stores open.
I think there's a good chance though, that if we put it in front of the council in that way, that if they have the authority, which I do, to reassemble this committee just 2 election years in a row, that maybe they will. So I don't even know before we put it in front of them, you know, I'll write, if you guys want, on behalf of our committee, I would be glad to write a letter to the town council and just say, you know, we feel we did accomplish something, but we'd like to accomplish more.
Yeah, as chairwoman say, we felt like we accomplished stuff, but we felt like I mean, you know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you could say the rest. You know?
I'll just say Brad said.
So
you want to put
I'll second that.
No, that's fine. I'm glad to do that. Dorothy?
We could also, I mean, I agree, you know, this was a quick process, and I'm sure if we all had more time, we'd come up with oodles of things we'd like to see in the charter. Personally, what I would like to see, what we do submit to the council, at the end of our suggestions, put that we also request that we remain a committee and spend more time working on the charter, even if it's not going to be put on the agenda, or excuse me, for a vote this year. Maybe we can start going line by line from the beginning to the very end and get thorough and really dig deep into it. And instead of being condensed like we were because of COVID, let's face it, and everything that happened, but make it a formal committee where we work on it.
That'd be too much.
We need more people overseeing everything.
The town needs it.
Right. Apparently they're not doing their job fast enough.
Can I?
Could we suggest as a charter change, that the Charter Review Commission is an ongoing committee from year to year to year in case anything comes up.
Year to year instead of the 5-year.
Yeah, like all the other boards and commissions, they meet, maybe twice a year or something like that for anything that may come up.
5 years is too long.
In
Does
between
anyone
the
know-
5-year period, like last year when they came up about the financial town meeting and the all-day referendum, the council changed the charter. If you had an ongoing charter review commission, they could have looked into that rather than the council doing it. And that's just my example.
I like the idea of not having to have it be every 5 years, of being able to say, or as needed. I don't know if it says that. I wonder, Norma, and I know you've been looking into the boards and commissions a lot. How would we switch it out? Like, would we want it to stay the same? Like, every time new council members came on, we redid
Well,
elections, or?
all the boards and commissions have time limits. I mean, you either reapply and stay on, or somebody new comes along. It could be the same thing.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Like after 2,
Yeah.
3 years, any
I'm
other
on
board?
the Historic Preservation Commission. Every 3 years, I either stay on or I go out and somebody else comes on.
Is there a term at which you have to go out for a short period of time? Or?
No. When
Well,
we
we're
started it,
volunteers,
'cause
we're not
it's a-
council members.
It's a
Right.
relatively new commission, and when we started it, we staggered. You were talking about the members at large. They would go there. They would be at re-election every election. When we started the Preservation Commission, we staggered it so that one person on the commission had 1 year, the next one had 2, and the next one had 3, till we all got on a rotation, so we're not all leaving at the same time.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just think with everything that's changing so much in the world, I think it just should be a standing commission or committee. It might not have to meet monthly, but I just think it should be in place for when an issue comes up and not have to wait 5 years or whatever.
I think, more eyes are better.
That's what I'm thinking, that it should be an ongoing commission or committee, whatever word you want to use. And that if people want to drop off, they can. You could make it a 2-year limit, but you could stagger it, like we did with the Preservation Commission. And people can still come and go.
Yeah. All right, I'll talk to Dave about putting some language together, and we can think on that. I think it's something that just got put out there tonight, but the group can think on it, and we can take a look at some language and be able to discuss with a little more thought behind that. But I mean, I think it's a really valid suggestion.
Right, so rather than just wait till they decide they need help, if you've got it in place, then we're not doing what we're doing right now, trying to pull it all together in a short amount of time.
Sorry, Norma.
It's okay.
I think another bonus of that is we're not constantly trying to get 9 people.
Exactly.
We've already got some.
Exactly.
And if we need to add because people left, it's an easier lift, perhaps.
Right.
And we'll have some people in town who really understand the charter. Like,
Yes.
really understand it. Which
That's
seems
supposed to mean.
which seems great. Brad, so right now we're the 9 smartest people in this town about this charter.
Oh,
Not
well,
me. Trust me, not me.
Well,
So,
at least
no,
Brad, you're the only involved people.
I do.
There you
And
go. That's what it is, involved.
Dorothy, go.
Are we submitting new thoughts and ideas, or is that?
Yeah, Dave sent me something today. I know that couldn't be on tonight's meeting, but I think he plans on having it on. Oh,
I sent him 3 things.
okay.
Last week.
He had sent something along today, so I hadn't seen it. But I'll talk to him tomorrow, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're gonna have to get the agenda out tomorrow if we're doing this meeting on Saturday.
Now, what happened to Dave today?
He had to be in an executive session for another board that he's the attorney on. So
Oh, that's okay. So we're not paying for an attorney tonight. That's
No.
awesome.
Well, he said
We're
he's
saving like $2.50 an hour.
he did say, he's like, I could have someone jump in, but they don't know what the past
Oh, I got
you
no
know,
problem with no one else
we've
jumping
about.
in.
So,
Saves us money.
yeah, yay. Ed, can I ask you something?
Maybe,
The amendments that we make to the charter,
correct.
if the board approves one or all or anywhere in the middle, are they approved as a group by the members, by the citizens of the
Council?
town?
The council
No.
will vote,
The council, I'm guessing, votes per change.
each individual.
Yeah, how about the townspeople?
The townspeople vote the same way. Each one is an individual change.
Okay, just wondering. And
Yeah,
I
they're not,
think
they're
that's
not
something
passed the
else.
block.
That's something else to be careful about as a commission. We only want so many things on the ballot. I mean,
That's,
we want people to read what these changes are we're making and really put some, answer the questions in a valid way and not just like make their way through the dots. So, you know, I think we're in a pretty good place for that. We only have 4 things and one we're working on right now and a few more that might be put on, but I think they're all readable and understandable, and I think we're heading in a good direction with that. So I just wanted to check, because I don't know if you suddenly get the town council, first of all, decides this is too many things and shoot, or townspeople themselves. So I just wanted to put that out there as something we might want to think about as we put things in front of the town council.
that's right.
All right, so I believe that we have discussed everything on this agenda. Does anyone else feel I've missed something? We good? All right, Ed, could you open the phones for public comment, please?
I am looking currently, and there is no one with their hand up. I'm going to offer that out once, twice, 3 times. Anyone?
All right.
It looks like the 5 people that are watching, my wife included,
Show
they're all set.
All
us
right.
where
Well,
you are.
I appreciate them watching, your wife included, and I motion to adjourn. Do I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Sandy, I'm going to give you that one. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Saturday at 9 o'clock.
All opposed? All right, you guys. See you over coffee on Saturday. Thanks a lot for your
Okay.
time.
All right. I gotta
Good night.
remember.
Aye.
I'll see you Saturday.